So once you have all the basics down, it's time to go back and do what I call adding polish. And normally what that means for me are transitions and then crafting your visual aid. So first I'm going to talk about transitions because it's relatively simple. First, there are two general kinds of transitions, internal and more external or section-based transitions. Internal transitions are the ones that you're really familiar with. These are going to be things like first, next, otherwise. However, these are essentially the transitions that you're probably used to seeing in English papers, and they're very common. The ones that I am more interested in and that you really have to work on are what we call the section transitions. These transitions move us from intro to body, body to conclusion, and also between main points. There are a lot of different ways that you can do these transitions, but the very best one is what we call review preview. Review preview, I swear he knows when I'm giving videos. He doesn't do this until I start talking to the camera. Review previews is where you talk about, okay, here's what we have done, here's what we're going to do next. So for example, let's say I'm doing a speech on why you should adopt a cat. For example, here's my visual aid, right? And I might say, before we can talk about how to adopt a cat, we need to understand why adoption is the best way to go. So see, as you can see, I'm kind of going from my intro to my needs step in Monroe's motivated sequence. Then I also do it between main points. Now that you know that not only do you need an animal, but animals need you, let's talk about how to go about adopting a cat. There's step 2 of Monroe's motivated sequence, which is the satisfaction step, and you can hear that transition. Here's a pro tip. If you're struggling coming up with a smooth transition to move from one point to the other, don't immediately just go, oh my gosh, I'm bad at transitions. Instead, really think about the order of your main points. Because when you have a really strong structure and a good order, things generally transition and flow more easily. Think about it this way. Let's say I'm doing a problem solution on why, trying to think of a good one. Let's say why voting should be mandatory, why it should be required that you vote. Okay, maybe we're going to make a law that says you have to vote. Now that we understand the problems with our current system and the drastic effects of low voter turnout, let's look at a possible solution, making voting mandatory. See how that transition is relatively clear? You want to make sure that you're really looking at the order of your points because that will help write your transitions. All right, so once we get our transitions done, it's time to work on our visual aid.